Good Wednesday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our SITREP or Situation Report here at Top Gun Options. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz. And on this date in our nation's history, March 3rd, 1969, the United States Navy established an elite school for the top 1% of its aviators. Its purpose? To teach the lost art of aerial combat and to ensure that the handful of men who graduated were the best fighter pilots in the world. They succeeded. Today, the Navy calls it Fighter Weapons School. Naval aviators call it Top Gun. Happy birthday to my Top Gun brothers. God, man, look at that. I'm a kid. I was an old guy in this class, and I look like a kid. Oh, my God. There's Shrek, my brother Shrek. Byron Sullivan, Lieutenant Colonel type. Matt Spicer, he was also a reservist who went through the course, the full course when I was going through the adversary course. What a great time. Just could not be more honored and humbled to have been able to go to the Navy Fighter Weapons School. My son came out and visited me. He got to climb all over the MiGs that we acquired out there. And just happy birthday to Top Gun. Got a big summer coming up with the release of Maverick. That's going to be fun. Speaking of what a great day, Top Gun Day today, March 3rd, 1969. Are you going to be here tonight? 7 p.m. Eastern, we are kicking off the industry-leading full throttle options training program. 7 sessions. This week we're going to go tonight and tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Tonight, kicking off with my trading methodology and where I gather my intelligence from. And then tomorrow night, options basics. If you have no idea what a call is or a put is, grab a bottle of wine and join us. 7 o'clock, these sessions are for the next couple weeks. I am, March 14th to the 21st. I'm out in Aspen, spring break skiing with the kids. We'll probably do 2 that week as well, since I'm on mountain time. But anyway, if you want access to all of these full throttle sessions, meaning these 8 sessions that we're doing right now, you want access to the next 8 that we do live next quarter, the quarter after that, the quarter after that. We do these 4 times a year. It's only $495. There are other crappy places, folks, that sell snake oil for about 5 times this amount. You're getting better quality at a fraction of the cost. Only $495 for unlimited access. All you have to do is head to topgunoptions.com/FT. That stands for full throttle academic $495. Okay. Now, if you just want access to these 8 and you don't need access to all the rest of them for unlimited time, just pay $195. That's a nice bottle of wine, man. topgunoptions.com/FT-academic $195. So if you want the $495, it's $495. If you want the $195, it's $195. This is one-time access to these 8. You absolutely positively need to know how to be trading options right now in this market, folks. We had this rip your face off monster rally, right? Santa Claus rally. We had Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, my birthday. And we kind of hovered. Ignore this Reddit rebellion, the unwashed retail masses trying to storm Wall Street. They were defeated. This interest rate kerfluffle we're going to have to talk about. And in a couple minutes, I'm going to tell you what the biggest thing happening tomorrow is, and at one time, which is going to determine whether or not this market implodes or explodes. But real quick, I delayed doing my sit rep right now because I had to sit here and keep my face buried in a trash bucket as I vomited watching Governor Cuomo. I never did anything inappropriate. I never touched anybody, never did anything wrong. And he just apologized 90,000 times. What were you apologizing to, and why are you apologizing if you say you did nothing wrong? Typical Democrat. And here's how the media, this is perfect. The media ignored this. CNN didn't even mention a word of it. Delete Cuomo and put in DeSantis or Abbott from Texas. It would have been 24/7 coverage. But we know Fredo, his brother on the network there, couldn't cover him, right? But the story got so big, right? And I got to be honest with you, sexual harassment, sexual assault is awful, and people should pay. However, Governor Cuomo is responsible for killing over 10, maybe even 15,000 New Yorkers. Did he get one question about that today? No. Anyway, the media ignored this story. It got too big to ignore. They covered it, then they're going to move on. So here's the new normal if Cuomo isn't forced to resign. I'm sorry, right? Imagine if we did this in reverse. Cuomo just did all this stuff and said, I'm sorry, and Democrats are going to go, okay, well, he said he's sorry. What if Brett Kavanaugh was nominated to the Supreme Court justice? What if we did this in reverse? Could you imagine Brett Kavanaugh confirmation hearing with the new standard from Democrats? I thought it was believe all women and you must resign and all this stuff. Well, no, it's not if you're a Democrat. It's a disgrace. He's an awful, he's a murderer and he's a sexual harasser. So perfect for a Democratic Party. Iran's revenge. At least 10 rockets slam into U.S. bases in Iraq. Here we go. Tit for tat. Iran rocketed air forces in Iraq, wounded one of our soldiers, I think, and maybe killed a contractor that was not American. Joe Biden dropped a couple bombs in Syria on some garages that had a couple rifles in it. Did nothing, essentially. Iran's revenge. And we're going to start blasting U.S. bases again in Iraq and try and kill American soldiers and Marines. Here we go, folks. Here comes crazy Uncle Joe, another good Democrat, get us into another war over in the Middle East. Love or hate Donald Trump, he got us out of these forever wars, or at least tried until the swamp, the Pentagon, the Department of Defense, the McDonnell Douglas, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, the current Secretary of Defense, right, who, as a four-star general, left the Army, went to a hedge fund, massive hedge fund that deals in what? Oh, the defense industry. That's weird. And now he's the Secretary of Defense, which is odd. That whatever. Welcome back to the swamp, guys. Iran responds to attack on Israeli ship. We monitor Israel's behavior in the region. Blah, 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 blah. War with Israel and Iran is already going on. It's just undeclared. Israel, the Mossad, kills Iranian weapons scientist. Iran tries to kill Israelis via Hamas, Hezbollah, whatever you want to do. This will turn into a big shooting war under Kamala Harris's watch. Guaranteed. The European Union is begging Iran to come back to the nuclear table negotiating, and nope, we're not. U.S. has to drop all the sanctions, and they owe us $1 billion in reparations because of what Trump did to us. What? War is coming in the Middle East. Who cares? China is the biggest threat to this country. Before I even start on this, I'm incredibly bullish on China. Why? Because they're taking us over. They've already taken us over, folks. Congressman Eric Swalwell committed adultery with, when you have a top secret clearance, you usually get that pulled and you get thrown in jail if you're an officer in the military. But when you're a congressman, nothing happens. Nancy Pelosi doesn't do anything to you. You stay on the Intelligence Committee, even though you had an adulterous affair with a Chinese spy. Dianne Feinstein, her driver for 20 years was a Chinese spy. I can't even get into all this stuff, folks. China, they've stolen plans for the Joint Strike Fighter, our ballistic missile submarines. They're hacked into Goldman Sachs. They use insider information in trade. Folks, these are they're in our universities. I covered that one of those quiet things Joe did when he first got in office was took away Trump's investigations into the Chinese influence into our institutions. Universities, colleges, faculty, students. Nope, we're going to shut that off. We're not going to look into that anymore. Everybody, speaking of Top Gun, right? Speaking of Top Gun Day, what is missing from Tom Cruise's jacket in the movie coming out, known as Maverick this summer? You don't have to answer. It's called the Flag of Taiwan. In the first movie, the back of Tom Cruise's flight jacket has the Flag of Taiwan on it. Now it's gone. Why? Because China owns Hollywood, right? This is a dry run, folks. They're the ones banning doctors. Folks, these are the puppet masters in the background. China is in this for the long haul, folks. The East is rising. They're in this for 100,000 years, man. They're going to turn us into communist China, right? Xi Jinping calls out the U.S. as our biggest threat to development and security. They own the studios. They're hacked into our Department of Defense. They got the world sick. This is the number one enemy of this country. You ready for this? They're just going to walk into this country someday. When we got Donald Trump took down ISIS, and Joe Biden took down Dr. Seuss. So not a good looking day. This was the headline from pre-market open. Stocks futures rise on vaccine stimulus hopes. The futures were up like 200 points at one point. Got up, went and meditated on the beach, got my cup of coffee. Futures are up 200 points. By the time I got home, they were at zero and it turned red. Whenever you see this, the market moves on what? Hopes and fears. Stimulus hopes. Nothing like jamming $1.9 trillion in pork. 9% of the COVID relief bill is for COVID relief. The rest is crap. Now, Nancy and Chuck, after everybody found out about her tunnel and his bridge having nothing to do with COVID, today they withdrew that type of crap, just those two pieces of crap, and of course blamed Republicans for lying about it. What? So the market, folks, has kind of had it. Right? Look at this 3850. It's the battle of 3850. I've been drawing this for a month and a half. Look at 38. Here's 3850 on the S&P 500. Resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance. Support, support, resistance, support, resistance. Today, actually, it looks like we might be. Look at this. 3850 is this morning. E-Trade, you got to fix your charts, man. Awful. So it was kind of resistance under here. We blew through it, support, and now we busted. Oh, man, we're getting ready to bust through 3830. Folks, the next stop, I predicted this. What did I tell you on Monday? This bounce off the 50, this rip your face off 700-point rally. I said sell it, fade it. That's not going to be continued. I sold a ton of covered calls on Monday into that massive pop. Why? Because I knew this was going to happen, and we're most likely going to go test this 50-day moving average. More rate scares ahead for stocks. So if you believe the liberal financial media and what they said last week, this was all because of interest rate fears. Wrong. Maybe if you come to Full Throttle tonight, I'll tell you exactly what this was. But this is actually correct. Get ready for more rate scares and get ready for a hell of a lot more volatility. That's why you got to join Full Throttle, because I'm going to show you how you can potentially profit no matter which direction the market is going, up, down, or sideways. We have jobs report on Friday. The ADP number, however, every Wednesday before a Friday jobs report, ADP comes out. Big miss. 117 versus the 225. Not bullish. 5-year is surging to 2.5, the highest since 2008. So we're starting to see maybe some inflation, folks. The $1 trillion that was put into this system in December really hasn't even got into the system, and now here comes Nancy, Chuck, and Sleepy Joe with Kamala to push another $2 trillion into it. Inflation will go up. Jerome Powell will be forced to act and raise interest rates, and the market will implode. Unless, I reported on this the other day, we might see tomorrow at noon, 12:05, right here, Fed Chair Powell speaks at a Wall Street Journal event. At 12:05 tomorrow, grab a bag of popcorn and watch, because the rumor is he might unveil more QE tomorrow, quantitative easing, which is nuts. So you're telling me, Mr. Powell, who's responsible for full employment and inflation, that you don't think, you just told us last week, you testified for 2 days last week in front of the House and the Senate and said, I think the stimulus, the virus still kind of, but we're getting there and things look kind of good. You're going to come out tomorrow and say you need to drop more financial nukes? You need to sit on your laptop, hit enter, and make money and buy treasuries? What? Why? Because he's having to manipulate the treasuries, right? At this time, we think the Fed may start adjusting its blindly dovish stance of monetary policy and begin to set the stage for an eventual taper of its asset purchases first quarter of 2022. Before that, though, more. Jerome Powell is a bartender, And it sounds like tomorrow he might, and we're already drunk, he might try to get us more drunk. This is going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. Does Jerome Powell come in here and say, "Hey man, I think we need more QE, twist, operation, whatever they're going to call it"? The market might freak out and go, "Holy crap, we got so much sloshing around in here. Inflation's got to be a concern now, Mr. Powell," which means you're going to raise interest rates, which means get out of stocks before the music stops. Very, 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 very interesting. Next 24 hours are going to be huge in this market. We either bounce off this 50 and love what Jerome says tomorrow, or we implode and it will not be pretty. We haven't seen, that wasn't violent. That was a retail rebellion that was squashed. This wasn't even violent last week. This was kind of, look at that. That was orderly. Now we had a big up, big down. That was a little violent. I get it. But look back here, right? August, September, October. Look at that. Those were, look at those gap moves. We've been lulled into a sense of complacency here for the past 4 months. Get ready for a potential shit show. Have one hand on your ejection handle. Okay. Like I said, if you want access to all of our full throttle academic training going forward, unlimited access, it's only $495. TopGunOptions.com/FT-academic-495. If you just want access to these 8 and that's it, it's -195. Okay. I got to get going. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge and God bless. Namaste.